morning, and just a few opening comments, and just I want to thank everyone who came out on Saturday. Appreciate our guys and their efforts, and get a chance to see them on the field, but also get a chance to interact afterwards, and it was great to spend some time with the fans myself too. And appreciate you all coming out. It was a beautiful day. A lot of activities around campus, and so hopefully you took in a few of those as well. But it was back to work today. That's our team's mindset right now. It's at a short team meeting, but back in the weight room. And, we're 100 days away roughly from training camp, and we talked about taking advantage of every opportunity. And these guys back to work today. The next 2 weeks, lots of workouts, some individual one-on-one meetings that we would do anytime at the end of the season, at the end of the spring. So we're doing a lot of that. Guys taking care of their schoolwork. And then finals after that. I'll have a short break, but I think the momentum that we carry here into May is critical. The next 3 months or so, 100 days, is really going to set up the 6 months to follow. And the question we've been challenging our guys with going back to January, we saw the want to, we saw the desire is can you sustain that level of intensity? You refer to it as competitive stamina often. That might be in the midst of the practice, it might be throughout the course of the week or a certain scrimmage. It might just even be for one play, But for us, that competitive stamina, and related to what I'm talking about, is can we carry it through each phase of the off season, and then that leading to us just having this way about us, how we do things, an edge to us that carries us through the entire fall. So I'm excited about the strides we made. I think there's some depth that's being created in our team. Referred to it kind of maybe as a blessing in disguise that we had so many guys that were out still kind of going back to last season. I think it really allowed us, forced us, in some ways to get a lot of guys more reps than they maybe would have had, and that's going to help us be a deeper and better team down the road. I'll open up for questions.
Thanks, Coach. Let's start with Charlie Potter on the right.
Yeah, hey, Coach. Just with the portal opening on Wednesday, just what are maybe some positions you guys are looking to target?
Yeah, I think you're just always looking to find the right person that fits who you are as a program, someone who can make your team better, our roster better. So we have just a couple scholarships really available to us. So we'll be careful, and we got to meet all those areas that we feel good about, the culture of our team, the chemistry from within, the work that's being put in. So I like the combination of attrition and addition that we've had, whether it's high school guys coming in. 18 of our 21 guys were here, that we signed in December, and so they aren't going to feel like freshmen this summer. And then also a few of the transfers that have come in and really done a nice job blending in as well, and defining their roles more and more every single day, asking more out of them from a leadership standpoint. So we'll be super careful on what we do with the portal. There are some areas where we do know if we have the right person pop up, we would take advantage of that.
Staying on the right side, we'll go to Dick.
Yeah, Ryan just told us that if you guys played tomorrow, that Ty would be the guy at quarterback. What did you do this spring that made it, Ryan want to say something like that? And for you, where do you see that position right now?
Yeah, I think there's a lot of great things they've all done. Ty continues to I think trend upward. I think all of them have really added to their game. They're all at different spots because Keelan's learning the system. The other two know it better, for sure. And Ty, has been around and just has done a nice job. I think the trending upward is a big piece of it. Ty's an accurate thrower. There's always going to be balls that every guy wants back, but I think the ability to learn from your mistakes, learn from other people's mistakes, be able to comprehend things, not be overwhelmed to think that he's just had more time, but they're all doing a lot of really good things together as a group. Now, I will say, we're not where we need to be in the quarterback position yet. And so, I feel like that exists within our team to have that level be accomplished. But this is part of the process. I shared with our team, we're not where we need to be as a team. I hope we don't ever think that. It's never been that case everywhere I've been. Any year I've been a part of, to where you finish spring ball in April and you're like, okay, we're good to go. us, are you ready for the season? No, I'm not. We got a lot of work to do between now and August, and that's the case, I think, with the quarterback position.
Jump to the far left, Chase.
Can you speak to the spring that Wilkin Formby had and also a couple of the backup offensive tackles?
Yeah, Wilkin, he's really come a long, long ways. And we just met this morning, a group of us with him. And I think the thing that, you lose sight of sometimes is if you flipped on the film a year ago, what would it look like? We're in it every single day with him, and he's just focused on the now. But, you peel back a little bit, and it's I think sometimes you forget how far a guy has come. And that's the case with him. It's a physical piece. It's a discipline piece for every guy, but I think as an offensive lineman, especially a tackle, there's so many little details now that he's picking up on that he wouldn't have picked up on even late in the season last year. So it's more reps. It's just another cycle through, just like for all these guys, of learning or relearning the system, hearing the details again over and over, adding to your game. But he's gotten stronger. He's more confident. He's still getting every day. We've got to get better. He's a tackle for us that we need to rely on to get it done, not just at an okay level, at an elite level to accomplish our goals. And I think the other guy to point out would be Olas. Olas just did a nice job having him move around a little bit. I think this is probably flexibility to move different spots. You thought of him as more as an interior guy. He really continues to reshape his body and do some things that I think have really lent him to us feeling very comfortable with him in multiple spots, left side, right side, inside, outside. So I'm really proud of him. I think Arkell's a guy that's coming along. He's a developmental player, but doing a great job. His heart's in it. Guys love him. He works extremely hard. He's a blessing to have here for sure. The young guys, I think, getting thrown in the fire. Jackson Lloyd, Michael Carroll, they are going to be phenomenal football players, at tackle. And they have different strengths. They come from, opposite ends of the country, obviously, but their exposure to different things, but they actually, were really impressive, I think, and how far they've come. I'm excited about their future for sure.
Go up the middle of the right to Alex.
Feels like a little bit of a luxury in today's game to have three quarterbacks who you can all sort of envision being a potential starter. I'm curious, though, with the threat of the portal, how confident are you that you can keep that group together, and what would that mean?
Yeah, I really hope that we can. When related to the portal in general, you never know, right? That possibility always exists, but I do feel good about our team and our roster as far as the general chemistry. Guys feeling like they're continuing to be developed, that they continue to have a chance to compete, to have an opportunity here. I feel like that's the case at the quarterback position too. And Austin's growth, again, going back to where he was at, not even just a year ago, but just middle of the season, seeing him continue to go this way. And, 3 isn't very many, but it's probably the number we're going to have to be at quarterback. That's what we're expecting here in the fall. So had 4 last year. I think that's kind of a unique situation. I've had 3 many times in the last few years, and you're always on edge. And the rest of the team has heard stay away from the quarterback more than they've ever heard in their entire life this spring for sure. So a lot of questionable sacks that I did call the defensive line. Felt like they got wrong and cheated on by me because I own the quarterback whistle, and they got to stay away, but yet they got to get close enough to get a sack, a little play dead. But we stayed away from the quarterback and make sure those guys are all healthy and upright.
Go to Tony on the front left.
You talked about being comfortable with Olas's ability to play both positions, but in an ideal world, with him and Michael Carroll, do you like what they are at tackle, or would you rather move inside? And is tackle a position that maybe, if the right guy arises, is that something you're looking for in the portal?
Yeah, good question. I think that's a good question as far as just I think development of guys, and I can think, and we can sit here forever and talk about some scenarios that have been over even the last 2 to 3 years where a guard has moved to tackle, and a tackle has moved to guard, and you thought you recruited a guy for this spot, and he became an NFL player, first round draft pick, at a different one, So You know, Michael probably in particular, because we were obviously involved in his recruitment more so than Olas, but Michael, you know, probably was recruited more as a guard, you know, and he might become that someday. I don't know, but right now he's got that position flex that's really key for us, and he's got a mindset about him. You know, Jackson's probably going to be a tackle, you know, just a pure tackle, and then Olas, you know, was a guard obviously, so that's what you come in thinking when you see the depth chart that was here in place before us. You know, we'll just keep cross training, dual training guys, and we do that across the board at no positions. We got receivers that can play inside, outside. We got safeties that can play corners that can play nickel. You know, all that kind of stuff. That's I think going to be important for our depth and you know, readiness when different adversity hits us.
Staying on that left side on the third row is go to Katie.
Ryan Grove just told us that Daniel Hill stood out as much as anyone this spring. Just kind of what did you see from him in that running back?
Yeah, I was really excited to see Daniel. You know, he last fall, you know, and still even this spring a little bit hampered a little bit with just some tweaks and injuries and stuff. And you know, he'll end up being a really good one for us. We know that. And I felt like there was just enough that you did see last fall where he's got those just those instinctual things and running and cutting. Things you expect out of a tailback, but just some subtle things that a 240, 245-pound guy doesn't do as easy as he does. And then even catching the ball in the backfield, just natural that way. You know, he had some runs. We were in live sessions where, you know, whether he was bouncing off of them, I think it was more of them bouncing off of him. That was really exciting to see. And he's really developing a mindset, trust and belief in himself, and that's carried on through the rest of the team. So he had a really good spring for sure.
Colin from left.
Hey, you mentioned Keelan kind of continuing to learn this offense. What's kind of like that next step this summer that you want to see him take to kind of get ahead?
I think consistency. You know, he had some really big days. You saw a lot of flashes of what he is capable of, and then you saw some times where just consistency. And sometimes that just means not making big mistakes, you know. And so it's growth, it's learning. He's in it, his head's in it. He's the same guy every single day. That's what you love about him. And so you know, just consistency, and you know, he's going to be a guy that you can attack a defense. And I think all our quarterbacks have that ability with their arm to get after the opponent. So just consistent, I think, is the biggest thing for him. Because consistency as a person, that is strong. You know, consistency is just a playmaking ability and a lack of mistakes. And you know, he's learning a lot of verbiage that's brand new for him. So even just spitting that out consistently is something he's grown a lot. And I sit and try to listen in the huddle and exactly not just what he's saying, but how they're saying it. That's all the quarterbacks, and they've really grown a long ways in their ability to kind of you know, demand the huddle.
Emily Grace and good old left there.
Coach, now that you're, excuse me, now that you're through spring and we're kind of touching on the transfer portal again, but what is you and your staff's approach as you navigate where college football is at over the course of the next month or so?
Yeah, I think for us as coaches, it's still the foundation is still the same, right? Coach these guys, you know, just continue to add to their value, add to what they can do, make them feel like they got a strong role in our team, that their development and growth continues to happen, and that we see that, and that we want to be a part of that. And you know, I think just when they feel that and they get the feedback, you know, we can be strong with our guys. I mean, they know that we care about them, and they know that you know, we need them to help us accomplish our goals as a team. You know, just they have their personal goals too, and we want to help them accomplish it. So again, you never know this time of year. We felt last year we really didn't lose anyone at this time that we felt we're going to have going into the fall. And so you know, definitely say keep our fingers crossed, but that's the case, you know, here with the portal. So I'm proud of our guys. I think the guys that you want around you, whether it's coaches or players, they have a good head on their shoulders. They can have perspective on what they really truly have here at Alabama, and it's special. Whether it's the resources that they have and the people that they have around them in the training room, the weight room, the coaching staff, I think, is elite as well. And so these guys are getting, getting an experience that they should not take for granted. We can talk about the stories of guys who have come in and said how great it is here, or guys that have left and, maybe even wishing they could come back. And so, be careful what you ask for. The grass is definitely not greener on the other side. So, I love our guys. I think we got a great group. They continue to push each other, hold each other accountable to a level of strain. When I say accountable, it's not accountable just to, making sure you're here for this on time or doing this right. It's a level of strain, it's a level of edge, and I think they're really doing a much better job of that this year. I think we're comfortable with who we are and what we want to be.
Go to Mike, second row on the right.
How would you assess the competition of wide receiver beyond kind of the obvious guys at the top?
Yeah, it's there are. I mean, you got some experienced guys coming back. You had Isaiah in. Rico Scott had a really nice spring. We expected that. That's actually internally we expected. We could see that happening throughout the fall. Roll grew in December. But you can go on and on. I really like our freshmen that came in as well. Derek and Monsieur. Really think we nailed it with incoming freshmen that way. They're freshmen. That's what we got to remember. And so there's some growth that they got to experience, much like we're talking about quarterback and these tackles and so forth. And then you can go into the Mbakwe's and guys that made that transition, and Jalen Hale coming back, and go on down the line. They all are just out there competing, and I like the mindset that's developing. I say developing because it's something I think we're capable of, but we are far from there yet. It's to be the best receiving corps in the country, and that's not just one or two guys or three. That's the whole unit, and whoever goes out there, we're developing more confidence that they can get the job done. I like the versatility that a lot of these guys have inside, outside. We can move guys around, much like we've been accustomed to over many years, to where you don't know where so-and-so is going to line up. And that might not just be the receivers, that might be the tight ends, the running backs. They can line up empty, they can be out flex, they can be in tight to the box. If you're a tight end, you put your hand on the ground. So we got a lot of position flex, a lot of versatility. The guys are understanding the system, not just the what and how of what they're supposed to do, and their execution, but also the why.
Okay, we got two more questions left, starting on the way back, Johnny.
Staying with the receivers, just wanted to get your perspective on Isaiah Horton, how his spring was, and just his size stands out when you look at him at practice or out at A-Day. Just how much of a true red zone threat was that in consideration when you're trying to go get a guy like that?
Yeah, I had high expectations for him coming in, as far as who he would be, and he has definitely not let us down, or me down for sure. He's come in, and the thing I love about Isaiah is just the way he handled it. He's a guy that you want to get yourself in there. He went about his work, and guys, what I've seen here that come in and just do the work, they develop a respect amongst the team quicker than not, because that's what our guys care about, is who's going to come in, who really wants to be a part of this culture, who's willing to work. He has done that, and now all of a sudden you see him, because he is a productive guy, he does have that ability, and it's well-rounded. It's not just a red zone thing. That presence about him is something that's, I think, something we recognize, his teammates recognize, and have really grown a high level of respect. So he's got that body type. He caught some balls, and it was televised stuff. He caught some balls for Jalen at Pro Day, he's showing out in a lot of different ways for some of us who had seen him a couple practices, but guys who can catch in-breaking routes coming in full speed and not break stride. That's something I think is one indicator of how smooth and how talented you are. But he's really fitted well. He's got a great personality, a great teammate.
All right, we'll finish up with Jimmy right here in the middle.
Coach, going back to being able to move receivers around, can you walk through a little bit of the thinking of Ryan Williams being in the slot at times, and the benefits that's going to give the offense and the problems it will present for defense?
Are you asking if we've been thinking about that?
No, I mean just I know you have.
Oh, okay, we have. There's a lot of things you can do with Ryan. We never want to take away what he can do when he's out there isolated. But the ability for him, to get inside, get matchups, and he can get matchups against guys, pretty much against anyone. But I also think that we don't want to just put him in a spot. Seeing slot guys get bracketed and so forth, and so we need to make sure that again our system allows guys to get to all areas of the field. And because of Jern and because of these other guys, we talk about Isaiah, we can go on and on and on through our roster right now that can go inside or outside. That will allow Ryan to be able to do that. So you want the greatness of others to help you become great, and that's something that's really big. It's going to help Ryan have even a bigger season because the others around him.
All right, thank you.
All right, thank you guys. Roll Tide.